Okay, we're live on YouTube. Good afternoon to all our YouTube viewers. And once again, good afternoon to everybody. Happy Easter to you. Let's go. So I'll go. Let me we don't have quite a lot of people because people are still celebrating properly. So, and the time change, it's an hour earlier than we did it the last time because of the time change in the US. And so I hope by next time everybody will be adapted to the new time change and we'll be ready to go. And there isn't any holiday. So dollar index, let's go back to where we were in the daily. It's doing exactly what we expected to do if you were following us, because we said we think this is the first impulse and we're in a correction. We expected that move to go up and it went up very nicely. So now we're expecting some consolidation here. Probably not big. You can see these consolidations, they're not really big. Some consolidation in here and that should take off. So for this week, if you see there has already been some consolidation in here this week. So maybe slight more consolidation here, and then you can, if this takes off, you want that trade. It's like if you just pull a line across here, you're looking for this trade here, right? So you get 1, 2, 3. We're at least expecting 3 waves in this pattern. It could be much more. It could be much stronger than that because we don't know whether this, on the bigger daily time frame, we don't know whether this is a reversal sign or whether this is a continuation. And we wouldn't know that as yet. Right now, that is not important. Important is you catch that piece up. Move your stops, take profit, and be ready for the next trade. I think for this week, that's all we'll probably see, the up move, right? We will probably see just this up move, nothing else. Euro USD, just the opposite, right? It's actually doing exactly as you wanted. Some of you should be in this trade already. It's consolidating here. In very rare cases, you'll find that this could go back to the top. And that would not change the structure. I still think we'll be looking for this, right? So if they consolidate here for a while, you will get this trade, right? This is the trade you'll be looking for when they break the low. See how far that goes. You will have enough, if it goes, you will have enough profit to make a decision. On the 1 hour, if you think you want a short-term buy, right? If you think you want this probably consolidates some more and make one more up because they're consolidating on the 4 hour here, right? If you take this buy, well, like I said, there's a rare cases they will go test the top again. They can, the pattern could still get extended. They could test the top here again. If you take that trade, all you have to do is move that to break even. So in case you decide to go with a short-term trade, if they do this and you decide you'll take this trade, because they may stop here and go back. I'm more inclined to the long-term trade for the downside. If you take this short-term trade, put that to break even, just in case you got lucky and they retest the top before they come back. I'm not expecting them to retest the top. Pound, pretty much breaking out. They did not break the top. We're still keeping an eye if they'll break the top or not. They didn't. And they're going down. Same here, you'll wait for consolidation. Wait for them to make consolidation. I think we can see some more upside in this consolidation and then take the trade down. I don't see a buy setup here as yet. So if there is going to be a buy setup, it will probably take a day or two to form. And only then we will change this to upside because they can still tag it up. So that would only change if within a day we see structural change. You would not have that information, but it will be within my group. So, but I don't know if there's anywhere I'll probably get that over to you guys. I'll probably do it. But there is no structural change. It's looking more downside right now. Aussie, on the other hand, is looking like a change of pattern is coming, which means Aussie looks like it could go up, right? Watch Aussie for this. We were looking for this to make sideways and probably go. And they drop, they make a deeper pattern, they drop here. We're expecting them to go. And now we think that this could give you just about the slight upside here and potentially one more down. Because we'll be looking at this as a running flat pattern. So there's a buy, short-term buy in the Aussie to the upside. You'll probably see this go up some more. I'll be careful of sells right now. You can probably see this go up some more here, but be careful, you could be going down. So if you get a buy setup and you take it, get it to break even. At least to break even in case they start to drop. If they drop, you'll get a sell setup somewhere here. I think I don't need to explain how to get the sell setup. Most of you know already if you're following me for a long time. if you're new to my videos, you may want to first go through the educational videos before you follow what I do, right? So how far could this go? I still think the trend line is where we can expect this to go. Okay, the trend line is off. Let me just get it back on. The trend line is where I'll be watching this. One drop to the trend line, and then we will decide which direction the Aussie goes. The Aussie is in a big weekly correction to the upside. And, I don't think the upside is finished. I still think when this finishes, even if they make that drop this week here, we're going to see upside again. So if you get this trade that sells to the low, once they come to about the trend line here, you'll be careful. Now, the trend line itself is insignificant as to where it is right now. They can break it. They can stop short of it. This is just an idea to give you that if they stop here, we will be looking for a specific pattern anywhere in this area. I still think we're going to come back to retest that top. So if you get the sell, move your stops. You don't have to take it off. Move your stops. And when it takes you out, look for the buy setup. Right? New Zealand, I think there's a little more downside. The bigger picture is still going up as well. Coming back to the top here, that will be the bigger picture. But there could still be, within this structure, a little more downside. I could see the chance that they will come here before they go. If you're going to get a buy setup, only if they break out of here. I would allow it to break out, make the consolidation in 4 hours, and then look for that trade up. Otherwise, I'd look for one more down and then the upside. It's not the best sell setup. So I would not encourage to take this sell. If you find a good sell setup, go for the euro, go for the pound. Those are better sell setups than the New Zealand itself. As you can see, the New Zealand, it's a long time it has been going sideways. So you're not getting any great trades on that. CAD, on the other hand, is doing well. It's consolidating at a low. Remember, if you're following me, when we said that CAD will come break the top, they did that. We're expecting a move down. You got a sharp move. And we warned that this consolidation is not all. They're going to go back. And if they stay within this consolidation, that's downtrend. Right? That's big down move if they stay within that consolidation. And it looks like they're staying within that consolidation because we did not get the sharp upside to the top. If they'd come back to this up and down here, that would have changed the pattern to upside. So right now, as they're staying, we think it's downside. And on the 1 hour, you're getting a sell setup here, which means if this breaks the low here, that's a sell. Right? They can consolidate here longer, I think. So I think they can come here, even go back test the top. In the worst case scenario, you'll get a break even on that trade. Keep your stop above the top. So even if they consolidate there some more, you wouldn't be worried about that. Right? The sell setup is what we're looking for. I don't see the change to the upside as yet. Swiss, pretty much consolidating also in that big move. We were expecting the Swiss, remember from the very start, we were expecting the Swiss to go back to the top and go back to the top and then the downside. It looks like they're on their way to that top, maybe a little more down, and we can still probably see that. Not guaranteed you're going to see it, but it's still possible. The CAD could go down while the Swiss goes slowly but upside. The shorter trade for this week, which I think you'll be looking for, is a sell setup. So I think it's almost ready to go. Maybe Monday or Tuesday you'll get this trade. Take the profit. Wait to see if they break. If they break straight through before you can take profit, congratulations, you will have a very nice trade to the downside. If they stop here, take it, wait for a consolidation, then sell again, or watch for reversals. Not reversals, but the next up move, which could happen, right? Because it's a consolidation and they don't have to, the consolidation might not be over right now. That's the unknown factor, whether this consolidation is finished or not. Yen, we're in this one and it's developing very slowly. The upside, there's a longer upside picture for this on the daily. I think we've shown this many times. We're still in this consolidation at the bottom here, so it's not clear whether that's consolidation for upside or downside. This was the buy setup, and you should have bought there. This was a buy setup, should have bought. You could have taken that sell, you could have taken this. That's an if one. We didn't take the sell. We're in the buy again. So we were once in the buy, 2 times in the buy, 3 times in the buy. Now you will move your stops to take profit. Because as this pattern is structured right now, one more downside is very possible. Right? I'm not going to go to details of what the pattern is, but one more downside here is possible before they go. Right? So watch this for one more downside. Watch this Swiss for one more downside before they go. Watch the CAD for one downside, not necessarily turning to the upside, but correcting to the upside. CAD, the downside on the CAD is that if I have to choose between these three to take the downside, I would go with the CAD because this is limited. It's an upside structure. This structure in the daily, let me just show you the difference between these two in the daily so some of you could have an understanding about it. If you're looking at the daily structure of the, direction of where this is going to go when they finish that move to the downside, it's going to go up. If you're looking at the daily structure of the CAD where it's going to go on the daily, I don't think I need to explain, right? The daily structure, remember, yen has something like this: up, 1, 2, 3 down. CAD has down, 1, 2, 3 up. So if you're looking for a sell, this is your sell, and if you're lucky, you get it here. If you're looking for a buy, which means if CAD turns out to consolidate here to go for a buy, the yen is the trade you want. And this is not abnormal. If you follow me and you watch some of my education materials, you would hear me say there is no correlation in the market, especially in Forex. I believe in general, there is rarely any correlation. I don't think sugar and corn is correlated in any way. Just the same, I don't think yen is correlated to Swiss. What people mistake for correlation is because of the denominators, the factors of which is where, right? You use USD yen, you use USD Swiss, and because they tend to move in the same direction, people say, oh, they're correlated. It's because if you're looking at it, the USD is in front. If you just switch direction, put the yen in front and leave the Swiss at the back of the USD, they will go in opposite directions. The charts will go in opposite directions, right? People said the Swiss and the euro is correlated. They're not. They were correlated only for a very short period of time. And all of you remember that. You remember the results of that correlation, right? When they pegged it at that price and then they drop it, and most people lost their pants. Well, some people lost their houses, right? But basically, we know what. I personally know of one trader in my group who lost 200K because he was pegging, and he actually made the 200K from pegging because he started with 20, and every time it came to that peg, he would buy it, it would go up, he would take profit. And he did that like 10 times, making from 20 to 200, and he lost all in one drop. Everything in one drop. See? That was correlation. It didn't last for long. There is no correlation in Forex. I know there are a lot of people who believe there is. Well, congratulations. You have no idea, right? So that's the whole point. People thought it was there and that, oh, they're going to keep it and that's it. It's going to be pegged there. It's not. It cannot be. If you're pegging two currencies, you're pegging two economies. You're saying that these two economies, everything that happened in these two countries will have to go hand in hand. Nothing can happen there that cannot happen here, right? Everything has to happen equally so that these currencies are going to have equal worth or they're going to change their worth equally. That doesn't happen. That's the craziest thing I see some people put out there. And for those of you who think I'm going off on rant, I'm trying to educate you because most of you who think I'm going off rant, you are the people who lose your accounts because you have no idea about how to trade Forex. You have no idea with the general knowledge of what Forex is. And that is why you think it's a rant because you're not listening. If you're paying attention and listening, you would learn a lot. People who are learning and making money, right? I do get a lot of that. So let's move on now. Next on Swiss, we did yen. Let's go to silver. Silver is in this big sideways move here. The entire structure in silver is a little complicated, put it that way, because this is the impulse up and this is the correction, but this starts to get much, much more bigger than what I expected. Remember, this is a sharp wave. There's two small corrections in it, no big correction like this. And that means we have to relook at this whole structure because I don't think this structure is going to make an impulse up now. What I do think it's going to do is that we're going to have a much more complicated correction in the middle here because this is looking more corrected than they will come here. They'll probably go back up, but this will not break the top. We'll retest this low before we go. So we might be within this range here for a longer period of time. I don't see them going anywhere anytime fast. So short-term trades, perfect. I do expect them to break the low. Consolidate in this zone, break the low, and then go back up. Something more like this. This is what I'm expecting to happen. Similar structure. This piece is like the yen. They can take off. Right? Remember, we expect the yen to come one more down a little. Not very much, but a little. Same thing here. I do think this could come one more here. Test the lows and then go back. They don't have to break this low. This low has no relationship to it. They have to break this low. They've broken it once, but I do think they'll retest it and then go back up. So keep your eyes on this one. If they do break the low and go back up, that would be a good trade. Gold, same thing. Look, this looks very much like an upside, but be careful. I think they're going to actually come back here, right? It looks like a down drop because watch this piece here. It was looking very similar, but they dropped down. If you look into the internals of that piece, it was showing a sign of downside. And we're looking into the internals of this, and it is showing signs of downside. Not very big downside, but downside, at least within this range. So I'd warned about trading gold to the upside too early, right? They have to confirm. If they come and break the low here, there's probably you look for a sell setup after a correction here in the 1 hour. This would be the good trade. And when they break this low, if we see that this structure looks like a complete correction for upside, we'll go with it. If they break this low, this correction here could change and downside, right? Which means structurally, it all depends on how this piece goes and what it does. They pull back deep and then drop. They make a short one, then drop. The structure here has divergence or not. There's a lot of factors that will take into what this piece does before we decide upside. But I'm going to go more with the downside. Look at this one, right? This one was pretty simple when you look at it. This is not clear, especially with that D. That deep pullback could have confused a lot of people. But watch it. If they do the same thing here, look for the sell setup. I'd wait for the sell setup. I would not buy until they break out of this structure completely. Euros, some more downside is possible. So on the 1 hour, you can see you'll probably get some correction there. And look for some more downside. So this week, I think we'll probably be looking for a little more downside. In rare cases, I see them actually. Even if they go to break the top here, don't have a buy setup here right now. Shouldn't be buying into that right now. Here in New Zealand, they are also showing you the same thing. We expect that downside here, at least at this level, and then you'll see what happens from there. All right, so this was a correction. We saw that they drop it. You got another nice correction here. You can look for this trade. This one is not going to be a big one. It's going to remain small, so you can get this probably on Monday or Tuesday. Probably you'll get that trade. Right, that trade is possible there. EuroCAD, you're getting a sell setup here. We thought this part would go back up, but right now you're getting a short-term sell setup. And if they break this low, that would change how we look at the structure, right? So I don't expect them to break this low, even though it's looking like a short-term sell. They can just drop back to this level and then go back up, right? The bigger trade you should be looking for is to the upside on the break of this one, right? If they break that structure without tagging the low, you can buy in any pullback that they make. I do see this pattern as wanting to tag the low first, then go. They should not break this low. If they break this low, that changes the structure, right? That means we'll be looking at a different structure in the making. So far, we're looking at this as the correction. That is the impulse. This is a correction and one more impulse up, right? So look for that trade. Euro Swiss, slight downside is possible. I think you can see this. We saw that trade coming down. They're going to come down here. And at this point, you will take profit. This is the trade you have for this week because they can still do that, right? If they break through that structure, all you have to do is move your stops. Of course, correction can go beyond the impulse. That's the question somebody asked. The question is direct only to panelists. If you change your question to panelists and all attendees, everybody will see it. So that's a question somebody is, can the correction retag the start of the initial impulse? Yes, it can. In many patterns, it can. So that's something you guys should know. Euro yen, pretty much upside. They didn't come all the way to the top there. As you can see, we expect that to go, but they're consolidating here. So let's look at this and see which direction we think this can go. I still think it's upside. Put this here. I still think it's upside within this range, at least within this range here. And if you get this pattern here without breaking out and they break to the downside, take the sell, but take it as a short-term trade, which means you'll get 1, 2, like this, and then you get one more down here, and then they can go up. So only if they consolidate and don't break. If this consolidates here and don't break out, allow it to break to the downside, and then you look for this trade. This will be a short-term trade, but that might be all you get this week before they go back up, right? So what is it doing in the bigger picture? Just going sideways. We broke out of this. See, we broke out of this here. So this has to go back up. If they go down, that's a short trade. Like I said, that's your short trade, and then the upside. So you can get that short trade on Monday or Tuesday, and then you get this on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Can be an upside, a longer term upside. Euro pound, same here. We're expecting this to go back. I thought they'll make a correct, put it in a 1 hour. I thought they'll probably break this down a little earlier, and they'll still make it, except you're not going to get this trade. You're going to get this trade here now. And they don't have to break below. Right? This could go a little more like this. Come back here and then go. So the down trade is no longer very good. Wait for them to finish it. Wait for this and then look for the buy. They're consolidating. It's either going to be a regular flat or a running flat. This piece here is going to either break the top first, answering your question. It will either break the top first, then come back here and go, or they will drop, break the low slightly, and then go back up. But it's consolidating for an up trade. So forget about the sell. The sell would have been very nice if they had broken it from here. Right? If this piece here had broken and you got that trade, that would be a nice sell before they go. Now it's no longer very nice. The risk to reward now is not going to give you anything much. And if it's a running flat, most of you will take a loss because you would not be able to recognize a running flat, which means you will not be able to move your stops. You will not be able to take off the trade. And you will not only miss the upside, you're going to totally make a loss on your account. And that means you will never buy. If you just took the sell and you lost, you're not going to be able to take a buy immediately. I doubt many of you in the room has the ability to do that, right? Your vision of the chart has to be crystal clear. You have to understand pattern at a very, very, very good level before you can do those trades. Right? Most people take a loss and that's it there. They can't even get back into a trade anytime soon. Pangaz, downside, it's consolidating here. You can see that. You're going to get some more consolidation here and we'll go more down. So you want them to do the bigger. Remember, if you're doing this, doing that here, take it off because you're going to get a deeper consolidation here. And then now, should you buy into that deeper consolidation? I don't think so. You can go to 15 minutes and try your luck if you have the experience to do it. Maybe you get lucky. And sometimes you get lucky. This thing just do like this and then spike it up there and then come down. So those who trade in the 15 minutes, they get lucky every now and then. Most of you may not have that experience to do it. And you don't get lucky every time or very often. These are rare cases. They spike it up. And, if you were selling this piece here, see that? They spike it down, you have to be able to take profit, right? So if you're in these cells, you want to probably move your stops and take profit out of it because it will correct before it falls. Pound New Zealand, you're probably going to get, if you're in this cell, you got to be careful because this cell looks, these are these cells that have these weird looks on them. Remember this one? We thought that is the one that is going to go down. They make a new spike and come, and that changed the pattern. Once they did that, we expected this to go back up one more. They did. This is a perfect flat setup for downside. But look at the way this is going down. And that means what that is telling you in advance is that it's not going to be like this. It could start and move down like this, go back up, come here, go back up, and then you get that drop. Right? Which means you'll get either a leading diagonal, you'll get an ABC or a WXY start of that pattern. You're going to get a more complex pattern at the top here. It's not going to go straight, give you a flag and fall. But the downside is very likely. So let me show you that on the bigger structure. This is definitely going to happen because you can see these patterns. You've got an impulse, you've got your corrections, and this is going to come. How it's going to come? That's the question. If you're lucky, they come like that. If you're very unlucky, they will take the hell of the view to come down there, but they will get there, right? So is it going to be like this, or is it going to be, let me find a slow one for you? Very slow one. I'll find a pattern where, the up move is there, but it's just miserable. Here's this one. You got one, you got two. See how they went up? If you were trying to buy into that, every time you buy, you got break even. I doubt you have the ability to keep it because those are big moves. I'm in the daily chart. Those are 50, 60, 70 pips moves, I think. So if you bought the first time and, let me see how much pips from the low to there. Like I said, it's a lot of pips moves, right? If you look at it, it only looks small, but every time you buy, they come right back to where you bought, came right back to where you bought. So you will probably, you'll already get yourself in trouble. It's the same thing we're going to get here now. Is it going to make that pattern where they will drop a little more, go back up, drop, go back up, drop, and then you're going to get the final drop before they go. I think many of you have seen that pattern. The downside is going to happen. I don't think it's going to go up anymore. I don't see the upside in it. But just be careful how you trade it, because you'll have to be able to understand what the pattern is doing at any point. If you can't, stay out of it. Punkat, it's starting to look like they're going to give us one more up. Not necessarily, but looks like they could go one more up. This just one more up, not necessarily change in direction, and then get the downside. But this downside is coming, guys. Remember when it was struggling to go up, I said, watch them to go break that top. And you were like, you didn't want to buy because the upside was really rough. Now they're already there. Watch this trade. This is the trade you're looking for. Now, not necessarily you're going to get that trade, but that's the one you're looking for if we're lucky. If you're unlucky, this becomes something like this. Go back up there, come back here, go back up there, and then only we get it. Remember the Euro, the Aussie, New Zealand? When we thought we were going to get the upside and they took a whole year more consolidating. I think they took a year and a half more consolidating, right? But you can trade them. It's not that you cannot trade it, right? You get a downside, you get a sell, set up, trade it. So most of you are in the sell already. If you're in the sell, that's good. If you're not, wait for them. Wait for this to break, take the trade, put it to break even. See what happens here. Bigger correction, go. By the way, if I can take 2 more minutes and go on another rant on this, because this was a question one trader sent me, not a question so much as a suggestion, because he was saying that he really loved the way I explain the charts and show all these patterns. It's helping him. The only thing he doesn't like about it when I say move your stops to break even. And I could see why he's having problem with that, because even some of my traders have problem with when and where to move to break even. They end up taking too much break-even trades, right? And most of those break-even, not most, some of those break-even trades even go. What happens is you feel hurt with the ones that go. But I send all of them to go back and check all the break-even trades you have and be specific. Take notes. How many of them actually went? You remember the ones that went. You don't remember the ones that save you from a loss, because you stopped focusing on them. You're focusing on the one that went and you got out for break-even. And the amount that you're going to get saved from is much more. It's about 70%. So if every 10 trades you move to break-even, you got break-even, about 7 of them would have been loss. Only 3 probably would have been winning trades, right? But here's the thing. You don't have to move all of them if you have the experience, right? You can know which one, based on the pattern you're looking at, which one has a high probability of coming back and changing direction, or which one, well, may just pull back and go. And then you can decide which ones you want to move and which ones you want to stay with. I always say move, especially for new traders, because most of them don't have that knowledge base, don't have the experience to tell the difference between this is just going to be a pullback or this is changing direction, right? You have to have the knowledge and the experience to know that. And because you don't have it, it's better to be on the safe side. Either take your profit or move your stops. And if it keeps going, great. That's your trade. If the ones that don't keep going, you're on the wrong side of the trade. If you like to take profit, take the profit every time, wait for another trade. That's also a way of trading shorter term. You get 50, 60 pips and you were risking 50, 60 pips, take it. You don't wait for 100 or 200 because you don't know how to do it. But if you know how to do that, then go ahead, do it. That's the best way. That's the best way to trade, because the longer trades will actually grow your account. But it's not the easiest way to trade. It is very difficult to stay in a trade more than a day, more than a week, more than a month. I don't know how many of you in here have ever stayed in trade that long, but I know it's difficult because I do that. So your ability to handle these trades will depend on the knowledge of the structure. And if you don't have that much, right, then what you have to do is you have to take profit. So remember that this looks downside. We will have to confirm that when they break the structure. Right now, as it stands, they can make one more up. I don't think this is the one, but they can make one more up and then come down, making this a running flat. We're looking at that as a running flat. Hopefully, we're correct about it. There is a smaller running flat here also that is possible. But if they break this structure in the 1 hour, sell it. Right? If you break this in the 1 hour, sell it. Pound Swiss. This is also going down nicely. Let me just take that off. That was somebody sent me, so we're showing them the chart. The question to this is whether this is making a running flat, because if it's making a running flat, you're going to test the top once more before you go down, right? If it's not a running flat, and we don't know which one is the running flat, by the way, the possibility is this was your running flat, and that is the end of the structure, and this is going to wait for a consolidation, wait for a 4 hour sideways move. Don't trade this anymore. If you're trading into the downside, move your stops. Wait for the 4 hour correction. What does a 4 hour correction look like? Something like this, or even something like this to confirm the downside. Since this is a small move, I think something like this would do. And then you sell. You sell for this move down, right? Don't try to sell it now, because there's a possibility that's a consolidation running flat and they'll retest the top and then go. Do we have a buy setup? No, you don't. There isn't a buy setup on this, but there's a risk that this is making a running flat for upside. Is it good to close 50% of the position when moving your stop to break even? It's not good or bad. It's a style of trading. It's a style of trading that I don't use. It's either I get break even out of that trade or I get my full profit out of the trade. I get exactly what I wanted out of it. Traders like to take 50% off and said, okay, I got something out of it. And now if I get break even on the rest, I'm not worried. I call that comforter. You just feel nice about it. It does not work. When you're testing, when you're doing back testing, that's not how you test it. If that's how you test it and you were making profit, great. If that's not how you did your back test, you shouldn't be using it. But hey, if that makes you feel comfortable, that you're a winner and you win in most of the trades, great. But if in terms of making money, you're robbing yourself by doing that. Because if you take 50% off, move it to breaking, and it drops, I don't know, it drops 5 to 1 after that. And you were only 1 to 1. So half of what you were supposed to get, you just lost instead of winning. Now, how confident are you in your analysis? How experienced are you in your trading? That's where it's going to get you to decide which to do. But if 50% taking off makes you feel good, take it. Anything that works for you is good, right? If that gives you encouragement to trade, if that helps you in your trading, it's not a bad thing or good thing. It's just that you'll be, if you're a good trader, you're robbing yourself. If you're a bad trader, you're actually helping yourself by taking 50% off. So you will have to decide what you are, right? Taking profit, then sell again. That's a possibility. That's even a better possibility. Rather than take 50, take the whole thing off and wait for the next trade. That might be the better one. I would probably go with that one. If you're not comfortable with where you are and you don't know what it's going to do next, just take the whole thing off. You got profit. Wait for the next trade whenever it happens. The next setup you get, right? Pong Yen. Watch it at this level here now. At this level, 2 things possible. Consolidate here and break. And if they break, we're coming to this level. We'll break this low. That's for sure. Or go back 1 up and then come. Because of these patterns, we know these patterns have the tendency of keep making higher highs. I would put, especially in a pattern like this, I would wait for them. They're not breaking that top. So even coming here, breaking out there is not enough for you to sell because they can break the low and go back up. I would wait until they break the structure, make another consolidation, only then sell. At these points, selling here is a dangerous thing. So wait for the sell setup, let it break out. Let them break out. If you're looking at the previous correction, see how low this came, test the low, and then go back up. Look at this pulling all the way back to the bottom. It's very similar. You don't, this could just break the low by a couple of pips and just take off to the upside. So I'd be careful with it. Aussie CAD. I think I told you we were waiting on the daily or the 4-hour correction on this one. Well, I think they're starting, and this correction is not exactly the 4-hour correction as yet. But if this break, you can probably go with it. This will be a short-term trade. So let me show you how we'll trade this piece. Take that off. This is a very big trade. That's why I have that one. If you get the break of this one here and it drop one, take it and take profit. Because they will eventually do that drop again, take profit. And then they will make the bigger correction before they go. So you can get a number of small trades in here with corrections in the middle, very small trades. All right, like this one, you got a small trade up, you got a small trade up, and then they drop, right? So you get a couple small trades here, you will see divergence, you'll watch the chart turn, and then you're gonna look for the downside. So you can take the sell. If you're lucky, they really drop. I don't think you're gonna get that lucky. I still see this making a deeper correction before they go. I don't see anywhere in this chart that they've just made such a small correction and drop. Even this small correction here, if you look at this one, in here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days or 6 days. It depends how you count the candles, right? This one is just 2 days, right? So if they make 3 more days consolidation, that will be your 4-hour correction, like 1, 2, 3 more days, and then break. That is a good one. So you can see that they've never made such small, especially in a move like that. You're probably going to expect more consolidation. And if we get more consolidation, we'll all take the trade. I think that's what we agreed, right? We'll all take this trade. Aussie Chief looks like a short-term buy. Short-term because, anywhere in this big sideways move is a turning point to the downside. So take the trade, take profit, get up. If it keeps going down, that's a bad sell, not a good sell. Aussie New Zealand. I think you can get one more up. They'll make consolidation here, and you can look for one more up. Right? Remember I told you this thing is going to do exactly what we want it to do, but you'll probably not get any trade in it. It's really tough to trade. If you took the sell, you have to take profit in every single trade. Because this is the one I was telling you about when we had 1, 2, 3, and we thought that is the one that is going to go. And then they took another year consolidating, and they'll probably give us another year consolidating here. I don't think this is the one coming to break the low. I think they will go back up there, make a 3-wave structure, and then come back here. So we probably have a next year of consolidation before this thing moves out anywhere. It is going to be in this sideways for a while. You can trade it. So I would look for the upside of this now on the break of this structure here. I'll let this consolidate and then look for a trade up. Let this consolidate here and then look for a trade to the upside. Put it in the 1 hour so you can see that. It's kind of consolidating already. They've got 1, they've got 2, they've got 3. So anytime they break this structure, you can take that trade. MACD setting is standard. The MACD really has nothing to do with all of this. I think a lot of you, we don't use the MACD to trade. So don't try to use the MACD to trade. The MACD is just an indicator. It's not a trading tool. It does not tell you when to buy and sell. So don't pay too much attention to that. Aussie yen. I think this one is the best one if you have to take an Aussie trade to the upside. Aussie CAD we were expecting to correct. Aussie New Zealand we were expecting to correct. Aussie Swiss we were expecting to correct. Aussie yen we were expecting to correct. Take the Aussie yen. It's crystal clear. It's the easiest one to trade, right? If you look, let me just go through them again. This is the Aussie yen to the upside. This is the Aussie New Zealand correcting to go up. This is the Aussie Swiss correcting to go up. One more up at least. This is the Aussie CAD, right? This one is correcting. It's looking downside. We know they're all going to go down, but this one is correcting like this. So if you're going to buy this, I think that's a bad idea. This is more of a sell, right? So the one that has the best structure for a buy is the Aussie yen. They will all correct to the upside. This one has the best structure for a buy. So if you get that buy, take it. If you get the sell, go with the Aussie. If this is going to correct more downside, which means if this is going to do this to the downside, then you have a good sell setup on the Aussie. I think it was the Aussie Swiss, right? Or the Aussie CAD, which one? Aussie CAD. You have a perfect sell setup on the Aussie CAD. So if it drops, it's the Aussie CAD. If it goes up, it's the Aussie yen. The rest will just go sideways. This could be a spike and then up. That one could be a spike and then down. New Zealand yen. Okay, this is going sideways. I think they will go some more sideways. Be careful of these patterns. They tend to come back here and then go. I will buy outside of the structure. Let them break out of the structure, prove upside before you get into it, right? They will definitely give you one more up. The question is, will it come back here and then give you the one more up? And that's almost definitely coming. So if you're going to look for a 1 hour or 4 hour buy, wait until they break out of this top, break through the pattern, and then you buy here for the next up move. Right? Don't buy too early because this could still come down and then go. New Zealand CAD. Probably a short-term sell on this one. Look for a very short-term sell here, 1 hour. It's kind of consolidating. Look for one short-term sell. I mean, a drop here. You can see they do that and then they drop. You might get a nice trade actually if the CAD falls. New Zealand is doing nothing. This will be a good trade. New Zealand Swiss. Also downside, but not very aggressive downside because they're still within this structure. It's kind of still within this big consolidation here. I still think it's going to be downside. Let me take off all of these so it wouldn't confuse you guys. Take this off. Take that off. It's kind of going sideways. If you pull this here, it's kind of like going sideways. It's not going anywhere. So this could still go up a little. And then you get that trade. This would be the best trade if they do that. Let them break the top first and then give you that down trade. If they break the top and come, you will come back to retest this lower. So the downside is the trade you're looking for, but it's not going to go right now. Probably just wait until they finish whatever they're doing. This is one more short-term buy setup. You get one more trade up here. Once they break out, you can look for that trade. But there is one more short trade up. Right. Swiss yen. Okay, we broke out here, but they're not going anywhere, right? So you just take off the trade at this point and wait for them to break this structure. Because this here is short-term downside. Short-term downside and then the upside. Right? So if you took this trade, if you got into that trade, you want to get out or take profit and then look for the bigger breakout. This is short-term downside here and then actually more upside. Bottom close with break even. Should have taken some profit because if you didn't take the profit in the first time up, when they pull back and start to go, you move your stop into profit. Because if this one didn't go, which you would learn about structure, it means the structure is getting more complicated. Like I said, you still have to know structure to know when to take profit and when to move stops and when to stay in the trades, right? CAD Swiss, okay, stay out of this. It's going sideways. It's not doing much. I don't trade this a lot. We were expecting a big move up. Maybe we start trading it up. Let's see, we have the structure for the upside. See, they're making these corrections and go. Let's see, we made a 1 here. But this one was looking more weird because remember, this was dropping. So let's see. If they start to break that up and make those corrections, we could start buying it to the upside. Not so early. Here's what we want to buy. We want to see this drop back here. And then start those flags. Right? Let it drop back here, but don't break that low. And then start to go back, and every one of those flags will be buys. Right? So this would be a good one. Remember, the upside is what we're looking for here. Copper. Okay, copper is going back up. You got the buy setup. If you took the buy, watch it, and you can move your stop into this and watch it until it gets to this level. If they go very sharp, good trade, keep it. If they don't go very sharp, which means if they go like more of a corrective structure, then there will be one more down and then the upside. This will eventually make the move to the upside. Right? It will eventually. The question is, when is it going to do that? Right? Is it now? By the way, this you can put it anyhow. You can even put this like this if you want. For trading purpose, it's useless. Right? So we might be in this flat. Look for the buys. It might be the one that is going right now. US oil, downside. I think you're getting a sell setup here. So remember the US oil, if you're buying, you're buying, you're buying. Move your stop, because they may or may not break the top. And they haven't broken the top. So the move to the downside should be a regular flat to break the low. Right? So we'll be looking for this trade here this week. If you're lucky, you get it like this. If you're unlucky, you probably get it like this one. Right? Any possibility that could happen, but that's a sell setup you should be looking for. And the same in the UK oil. Right? Very similar. UK oil, we were expecting the downside. They didn't break the top, so I think they're going to come down more. One more downside, and then we'll look for upsides. Natural gas. This time you're lucky. Well, let's see. Natural gas, I would be careful of the buys. Remember, I said if you're taking this buy, be very careful because I still think they're in consolidation. This whole piece is still a consolidation. They will drop to break the low and then go. We were expecting this piece to break the low. It didn't. And they're making some pullback here, which means they'll just make this piece a little more complicated. This piece will come back here. Sorry, come back here, go back up, come down back, go back up, and then probably do that. Something like that you'll get. Finish the move here and then go up. So if you're trading it, it's pretty much going sideways. I don't see the big move in it as yet. Because it doesn't look to me like we break the low. In some charts, we broke the low. So this one is, it's still open as to which direction it's going to go. Because in some charts, the low is broken. SPX 500. Good. So if you're following this, it's in a big daily correction. That's all. You're in the sell. You're in the sell. They're making a bigger correction. You'll probably get one more sell. They're making a bigger correction here. And you'll get one more sell. I don't think they should break that low. Well, they could. Basically, if you look at this as the A, the B, and the C, this one could break the low. So if you get this trade, it's going to be a very short trade. If they're making a deeper consolidation in here, they might not break the low, which means they will come here, go back up like that. Very big consolidation. And then eventually drop and go back up. This is just a big consolidation. What that means, they'll probably be there for a couple months. And then only, you see, this is still the start of it. This is what it should look like. Right, which means they're going to be in that sideways move, come back here, go back up, come back here for a long while. Right, there's a long, big sideways consolidation going on there. And I think it's going to take you a long time. You'll be trading in that range for a long time. So don't rush. You're going to be in a long sideways trade. You can buy up, you can buy down as long as you figure out what they're doing, right? This one possibly can go up a little more if you want to trade very short term. You can probably do this. You might get that trade and then look for the downside. Can you predict the next financial crisis based on wave analysis? I am not an economist. I don't work with financial crisis. I work with wave analysis. Now, would the wave analysis be followed by a financial crisis? I don't know. Not necessary, right? You see, financial crisis or economic terms, right? You may have a crisis going on, and you may not know it until you have a really deep fall in the price, but we recognize the price quite early. So let's say, for example, the pong. I'm using the pong because the pong is the most distinctive one we've all seen with a big fall for last year, for the last 3-4 years, right? So when I predict the down move, pong was actually way up at the top. Pong was, if I could remember one something, let me see if I can look at that chart. Let's look at this, for example, in the weekly. I'll show you from where my first downwards prediction of the pong was here. The pong was here. When I put the forecast for it to come and break that low. That forecast is on my Facebook page, so you can look at it. Was that a prediction of a financial crisis? I have no idea. Was that Brexit? I have no idea. And I will never have any idea what is the cause or what are the reactions or how the market reacts. But did it go where we thought it would go based on, you know, our wave analysis? Exactly. You can call out whatever you want. I don't know what the hell is making the market moves. I have no idea what is going to happen tomorrow, what political events, what economical events is going to. I have no idea. I mean, Brexit happened, but I don't think Brexit is the cause for that movement because we knew that thing was going to go down way before. Right? It's not like I knew Brexit was coming, right? I don't think any one of you think I have a crystal ball here or I can see in the future, right? Because I don't believe I can. I can't even see what's going to happen to me tomorrow, much less to see in the future, right? But looking at a chart, I can read where, based on the wave analysis, it's likely going to go. And that gives us very, very high predictions. Very, very good, you know, predictions, because you can go check out my Facebook page. That one is there. It's not like this is, you don't know where I got that from. It's there. It's actually on my Facebook page until now. Go to ProWave and you can check. That would come in to break this low. So we can tell very accurately with a very good high percentage where the market, would that be a crisis? I don't know. You guys will have to decide whether whatever is going to happen. We saw a lot of stocks actually where they can go up and where they can fall. Would that be a crisis in any case? That's a good question for economists to answer. I'll just tell you where the charts is going to go, and your main purpose is to capitalize on that. Right? If you have an idea where a specific chart is going to move to go, you have an idea whether you should buy or sell that stock, that index, that currency, or whatever it is. Now, let's take the pound Swiss. Here's another one, just so that you guys understand. We saw this one coming also. That one is also on my Facebook page, as well as that one is on this down one that we forecast here is also on the weekly, I think. Was it in the weekly? That one is also on TradingView. You can go and check it. I don't know what happened to them. All of them just disappeared suddenly. Right? We used to have those little things that shows you where you make the prediction. It's no longer there. It used to be there. But you can actually see them there on Facebook. You can replay them. We saw that move coming. And I'm telling you, there's another one coming here soon. I can tell you that right now. There's another one coming here, at least back to this level. And then we'll see whether they break out now or whether they go back up and then break. Right? That's what we look at. Would that be anything good or bad for the pound or for the British economy? I have no idea. So we're not making economical forecasts. We are making just technical trade forecasts. Let's go. We were at the, I think New Zealand, so we did on the oil, right? Natural gas. We were at natural gas, S&P 500. That's just a big correction. DAX, pretty much the same thing. We're expecting a deeper correction, right? And then downside. So what you can see here is this is going, you see these patterns here that they do? It's going to go up slightly, and then you're going to get that drop again. Right? I can show you a number of them. Let me see if I can find one right here. Very similar to this. No, that's not a similar one. I'm trying to find one that's absolutely similar to this, which means you're getting the moves going with the trend, and then they pull back and then they go, right? So if you're looking at something like that, you would look at this piece here. See this piece here? They get that breakdown a little, and then they start taking off. Because these moves are pushing like they're pushing up with the trend. It's the same thing here. See, these are pushing up with the trend, up, 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 and they push a little up, and then they'll drop. So wait for that sell setup. Put it in the 4 hour. This is how you see the patterns themselves. This one is probably going to break up to the top here, and then you're going to get the downside. Watch for that. Right? That is what confuses a lot of traders who don't look at waves themselves, wave analysis. What they look for is they look for, okay, they break out, I should be buying here. No, when they break out like that, if you look at the possible waves they're making, they're actually telling you downside. So if you just buy the breakout, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble because you didn't see what pattern you're looking at. Right? Someone say, why you always skip this? So I'm going to do it. I don't always skip it. We really don't do it very much. You can see that. We saw this pattern. They're coming down. This is making here. I think you can get one more down. There's a possibility for one more down, but this whole pattern is looking upside. Right? This is looking upside. So what is this piece doing? I think it's a big correction. They'll make one more drop and then go. This correction might take a long time too. Right? It's just in a big corrective structure, basically. They're not falling. This is not a big fall coming. Right? Nifty is pretty much doing the same thing. See this pattern here? They're going to do like this for a while, and then they're going to make a pullback and probably make even that and then go down. You're going to get a bigger consolidation here before they go. Right? The whole structure is in a big, we saw this coming. Remember when this was going up, I would say every trade is every buy is the last trade because you're expecting the drop to come. Well, that's what we're expecting, the bigger correction. Somebody want rubles, I think. Let's go. We'll take a look very fast at I think this is the rubles. Good. What is rubles doing? Put it in the daily for you. I'll give you the daily perspective, so it will give you a longer time to work with that. I'm still expecting this to work its way back to the top here and then downside because we're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3 wave correction. I don't think this correction is over. They'll probably get here and then downside. So long term, you're looking upside. Short term, you're probably looking, it depends on how the structure goes. I still think you're looking upside because this looks like more of a flat here. Look for a spike, maybe a spike to this level. So a little more downside here and then the spike to that level. So watch for that. Let's go. We don't want to make the webinar too long and I still have to take questions, right? So this one, it's short term. It's in a big, I think we're kind of in a sideways move right now. See that? This piece here, you're getting some divergence there. We're expecting this to break down here. They didn't, they go test the top, which means you can expect this to probably come back somewhat here, right? More like in that sideways move or even retest this low. So look for sell setups here. I think you have a sell setup there actually right now on the 1 hour. This is pretty easy. This is a nice one, by the way. See, we thought they would break here. They went up a little and they're breaking. So you're getting a nice flag here for a sell. See? That's your sell setup. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin, some of the cryptocurrencies for those guys who trade it. Let's look Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin. This is a question somebody asked me. So we thought Bitcoin is going to go up. Let me show you the structure. So they say you said Bitcoin is going to come retest the top, but it's going down a little. Well, it's not going down much. This is your impulse. This is your correction. And remember what was the question somebody asked? Can the correction go break the low of the impulse and then go back up? I think I answered that one today. Yes, it can. So what you're doing when you're waiting for a buy setup, when I said you're looking for a buy setup, is you wait for the buy setup because you're not getting the buy setup in here as yet. Is this going to go up? Absolutely. So here's what you would do. You put this trend line and you wait until they break it, make an impulse, let them break out, make an impulse, make corrections, and then you buy. If you're going to buy on the impulse, this impulse is going to drop. If you buy here, it's going to drop. And then you get one more low. Wait for the setup that you're trading before you get into the trade, right? So I still think they're going to go down. I still think this is going to, they're going to go up. Sorry, we don't know if they're going to break the low. I don't think they should break this low. I'm not expecting a running flat. So watch this. It's about ready to go up. This is about to go up, right? You can actually pull this one here if you want. That's the bigger trend. And that thing is about to go up, right? So a little more here, and then you can look for that upside. The upside is still the correction, right? They will break this top or they will not break the top. It depends on which pattern. If they break the low here first, I will not expect them to break the top. But if they don't, we always look for a pattern that will come to break the top, right? You will see how that goes up. That will be a good trade to the upside. And then you'll see. Ethereum, pretty much the same thing. This one is going down, and you can see that it's a big correction also. See, these big corrections, they have to correct themselves, right? This is going to correct itself to something like that before it goes down. So you're going to get this correction. You got it here. You remember this one where you were supposed to buy, right? It's the same thing. Let's look at the other one. So you don't want to sell it when it's at a low like that. I think that's a problem. Everybody wanted to buy when it was at the top. And now it's at the bottom, they want to sell. First, they never thought it would come back here. They were like, you were crazy. This thing is going to go up forever. And I'm like, be careful. Now I'm saying, now you can go buy. Not because I believe these are the best things to buy, but technically, they should go back up, right, in a correction. The same thing with this. It's crawling down slowly, but does that change the structure to the upside? No. If you pull this, you're not changing the structure, even though they break the low. That does not change the upward structure because that still remains the impulse. And all of this still remain the correction. Go back up there, you get this pattern, and then you get one more down. Any one of you remember where I showed you a pattern like that there? Not my students. All of my students know that pattern. Anybody who is not my student, do you remember where I showed you, literally showed you a pattern like that? Just name the chart. Let me see how good memory you guys have. Actually showed it in the webinars. Nobody remember. Euro Oz. Okay, good. One person did. Right? A couple of you done. Euro Oz. Yes, that's the trade. So that's the thing about pattern analysis. Right? We see a pattern forming and we understand the movements of how it can go. So we are expecting an upside. Doesn't mean it's going to happen right now. Right? And sometimes you make about 3 attempts on that pattern before you actually get it to go. Most of the time, because of where we are taking the buys, you manage to get out for positive, break even. And then you wait for the next attempt. Because that's, it's not like these are defined places where they're going to turn, defined spots. It has to turn from this point. There is nothing like that in the chart. The pattern is still forming. And it can keep forming for a while more. But that does not change the structure. It does not change the behavior of those patterns, right? And that's a good thing about knowledge. You know, if you're trading from a point of ignorance where, oh, this guy said it's going to go up, so I'm going to buy now, that's trading out of ignorance. You're likely going to lose your account. You have to know, it's like simply, you're looking at a doctor cutting an appendix. All he did was, all you see, right? What you're seeing from the outside, he's cutting, he get in there, he cuts that out, he take it out, stitch it up, and that's what you see. Do you think anybody is going to allow you to go do that operation? Come on, find your best friend and ask him, hey, can you allow me? I saw how the doctor did it. I'm pretty sure can cut skin, and I can get in there and take it out. See if he's going to allow you to do it. No. Well, because you don't have the knowledge. That's the main thing. That's the part traders are missing. You don't have the knowledge. You don't know what's happening in there. You don't know when you cut what you're going to do in there next. It's not just a cut. It's the same thing about wave analysis. It's not that easy to trade if you don't know what you're looking for. You have to know what you're looking for. You have to know how they behave. You have to understand these patterns. They're not simple. They're complicated. They're very complex. So, they behave the way we see them. Most of them do. Do we see the pattern crystal clear from the very beginning? Not exactly. Sometimes you think it's a regular flat. It turns out to be a running flat. That's okay. From a waivers trading point of view, that's normal. We understand it, right? And we saw it. Do I think Bitcoin goes to crash? And that's the kind of thinking traders get, right? Here is the point. First, when Bitcoin was going up and I was saying, guys, be careful, trend is too high, it's going to come down. What people were saying, not you in particular, right, Ray? I'm not about it, but what were the trollers doing with me on YouTube? This guy's crazy. He has no idea. Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000. That is their thought process. That's the thought process of an average trader. Hey, this thing is going up. I want to buy. And now when I warned that it's going to fall, now that it's falling, look at the thought process. Hey, this thing is going to go to zero. Be careful. No, it will not. That's not how it works. You have to read the pattern. It's actually going to go up a bit now. The pattern and the structure is telling us it's going to go up a little more. Does that mean it's going to go break the top? No, it's in a consolidation. But that's the fear factor in traders, right? It's going down. Oh my God, it's going down. I want to sell. Oh my God, it's going up. I want to buy. No, up does not mean buy. Down does not mean sell. Is that an up that you can buy into, or is that a down you should sell into? That's what you need to know. You know, one of the common things, I think somebody keep asking me to do a webinar on this, and I just can't get the time to do it. The common myth of the market. All of you have heard this. If you haven't heard this, just give me a why if you've never heard this saying. Buy low, sell high. Who hasn't heard that saying in here? If you've never heard that, give me a why. Good. It means every one of you have heard that. Now, any one of you tell me what it means. Okay, one person haven't heard it. I think you're joking. Any one of you tell me what that means. I'll challenge any one of you to tell me what exactly it means. Where is the high? Anybody knows? You see, the people who said that makes it sound very easy. You should buy, sell when it's high, and you should buy when it's at the low. What nobody asked them is, hey, where is the low and where is the high? Please tell me, look at this chart. Tell me, is this a low? Is this the low? Michael, I'm going to fine you for that. Michael is my student, by the way, when it turns. Is this the low? Anybody tell me, it's at the low? Should I buy now? Is that the low? Do you know that this thing cannot drop some more, drop some more, drop some more, drop some more? Come on, anybody know where the low is? That is what they're not telling you, right? What is the low and where is the high? How many of you thought this was the high? Come on, let's be honest. Let's get some honesty here. How many of you thought? I want someone. How many of you thought this was the high? Give me a yes if you thought that was the high. Come on. Two of you, right? Kidding me, right? You thought that was the high. This was where when I was saying, guys, be careful that the trolls were killing me on YouTube. Oh, this guy's crazy. He has no idea, right? Don't ever listen to him. Yeah, that's the thing. Understanding where the high and the low is. Right? That is the problem with traders. Knowing where high and low is. It's easier said than done. And that is why, you know, all these are myths. They sound very nice to the ear when you listen to them. Hey, I could do that. I could sell at the high and buy at the low. But what's wrong with that? Well, what's wrong with that is first you have to figure out where the high and the lows are. And I'm not sure many of you can. That's the whole problem. If you don't know wave analysis, if you don't know how wave patterns behave, if you don't know how chart behaves in patterns, remember where I was telling you to buy here? I was saying buy in here. I'm saying to you buy, look for buys. How far this can go? I think this can go retest this top. If they make an expanding flat there. If you're lucky, they come all the way to this top. Excuse me. If you're lucky, they come all the way to this top. Right? And that's not true. Divergence does not mean they're turning. If you think divergence means they're turning, you're going to... Yeah, they're gone. All the trolls are gone. They're no longer... Don't worry. They will come back alive very soon. I don't want you to trade it there. I want you to trade it at this top here for a running flat. Right? Those trolls will come back. I had a reward for them, but I don't know what happened. I thought they would come forward and say, hey, I'm the troll. Give me the reward, right? But they're not coming forward, right? That reward is off, right? Don't come forward and tell me, hey, I'm the troll. Give me 5K, right? It's not going to work. So this video is uploaded already. You don't have to upload it. It's live on YouTube and you can get it. So let's take some questions. Everybody, very fast. Questions don't tell me to look at a pair. Any normal questions, you guys? I can take some questions. No more pairs. Let's go. There is one here. Knock him up. Don't worry with those, Isaac. Those are in YouTube. One or two of them will still be around because I did kick out one guy from my group for stealing. He's stealing our stealing our analysis and trying to sell it. So we kick him out. And I think he promised me he's going to troll me. So hey, no surprise there. He's now requalifying from being a trader to become a troll. So congratulations, he's in the right road, right? When one can know the structure is going to change? Good question. Send me a Skype message. I'll send you all the details of how to learn about that. Is there a pattern given an idea where price turns at running? Yes. You can find out when the price is turning in any pattern, including in a running flat. Right? We can do that. Can I when I can see this video? It's a live on YouTube right now, so as soon as I close, you can go look at it. Right? What is your criteria for moving stop loss to break even? Your criteria for moving, good question. Your criteria for moving stop loss will depend on what the strategies you're trading. And the strategy is going to be different for everyone, every setup and every time frame. So let's say I am trading on a daily structure, right? And I'm in a sell, and you're trading in a 60-minute structure, and you're in a buy on the same chart, right? What that means, your buy will work, but you will have to take profit because I am in a daily sell, which means I don't have to interfere with that trade, even if it's going against me on the daily, right? Because that's normal. Within the daily structure, I'm okay with that. My stop loss is way different from where you were entering in your stop losses, which means you're even trading within the correction that I'm looking at. I'm looking at that as a correction for downside, and you're buying it on a 60 minutes, and that's normal, right? You know the chart goes up and down, right? How many strategies do you have? Depending, it's not like how many strategies you have. It's what time frame you trade, what charts you normally trade, how that chart behaves, what are your patterns you're trading more often. It's a number of factors that you create a strategy based on what the chart is doing and how you're going to trade that, right? So let me give you a simple example, because I think a lot of people confuse themselves, especially new traders, what strategy is. And that is why when people sell you strategy, you should never buy it. You can't buy a strategy from somebody and it will work for you. It will never work for you. A strategy is something you have to create by yourself. You have to learn how to analyze charts, and based on the analysis, you will create a strategy. So let's say you're trading flags. Let's say you're a flag trader, right? So every time you see an impulse, you see a flag, you will trade the breakout of this flag. Now, if you take 10 of us will have different strategies on how we trade breakout, right? If you take 10 people, 10 people will have different strategies. And it's not that one is better than the other, because it depends on what you're trading. You're trading a Swiss pair, you better have an entry order as a strategy, because you're going to miss all the breakouts, right? If you're trading, on the other hand, let's say Aussie, you probably don't take it in the first candle that comes out, because you're going to lose all the trades, right? So it all depends on which pair you're trading. What you do is you take the breakout, the flag, you go test it, back test 100, 1,000 flags on that pair and see how they behave. And then you make a strategy that, you create a strategy that will work for you there. Now, you also have to know where you are, which flags to buy. So let's say you're looking at a correction, 1, 2, 3, right? And then you get a little flag here. And this looks like it's going to go up. Would you buy this flag? Because if you buy that flag, you're likely going to lose. The bigger trade is to the downside. See? So if you don't know patterns, a lot of your flags are going to be losing flags, because you'll be buying them at the wrong place. It's not that flags don't work. This will come, it will break the top. It will do what it has to do, break the top and then drop, but that will only be 10 pips. You will not be out of it. It's not going to your target, that becomes the last for you, right? So you don't want that to happen. So what you would have to do is you would have to create a strategy. You would have to first understand. Remember, the number one thing you need to know to be successful in trading is gaining the knowledge, understanding charts and how they move, how they behave, understanding the chart patterns, understanding structure, understanding how whatever you are going to trade, how it behaves. And what I'm giving you here is not the knowledge. I'm just showing you my views of where I think it's going to go. My views is based on my knowledge. And that knowledge you're not getting in this one. I can guarantee you that, because I know what I'm giving you, right? You're not getting that knowledge in these free webinars. You get that when you take the training course, because that's a long, hard process of gaining that knowledge. And when you do gain that knowledge, then you start understanding what is going on. Then you're pretty much in a safer spot to trade, right? You have knowledge. You're equipped with the knowledge. You're going to create a strategy. You can use the strategies we're using. If you want to test them and use them, you can create your own strategy. When you do that, you also have a whole group of very experienced traders to support you. So you have a massive support system. That is the good thing about our group, is that you have a massive support system, and you have me there on a daily basis giving you updates. So let's say you prepare your charts, you're looking for a buy, and then you see me come the next day on the London webinar, and I said, okay, guys, we're looking for a sell here. You're like, wait a second, I thought I'm looking for a buy on that chart. So you can ask me a question, but by the time I'm finished doing the webinar, you will see where you're wrong. You don't even need to ask me the question. But let's say you still didn't figure it out. Then you can go into our trading room. There are about 20 very senior traders. And then say, guy, I was looking for a buy here, but Anil said there's a sell. Can you explain to me what he was looking at? And then you can get the details from this guy, the very detailed structure of what I was looking for, why we're looking for a sell, short-term sell, long-term sell, what it is. So you have a support structure there to guide you. And that is how you learn. That's the whole process. And that is why you join our group. It's not just because of the course. It's because of the support system that you have. That is, you have it for a lifetime. That is if you behave well, right? If you start doing crazy stuff, we throw you on. But if you behave well, you have it for lifetimes. And we have people in the room who are there for quite a while, making good success, very good success. Okay, there's a lot of questions here. So which one is better, taking a trade inside? So I just explained that, and one person asked a question: where is better to take the trade? Like, please, I just gave you a long answer there. Can you give an example of a trade entry, including alerts? No, we're not a signal service company. We don't do that. It will not make you a successful trader. Is it true that mathematicians, statisticians, experts, they know exactly when will the move will start? No, that's crazy stuff. Nobody knows when exactly it will start. There are setups that you look for that gives you the start. You never hear me say it's going to turn at this price. I'm saying wait for this structure to complete itself. Those are two different things, right? It's not about a point where it's going to turn. It's about a structural turn you're looking for. So once you understand that, you start understanding the difference of where you are. If there are examples of 4 big flags in a down, do all of them have the potential to become expanding flats? I think you better go learn more about flats, because the question is incorrect. They can all be expanding flats. They can all be any kind of flat. But in general, if you're asking that question, it means you haven't tested flats enough. So the best thing to do is to go test it, and then you will answer that question by yourself. Is wave analysis complete with overflow strategy? Order flow strategy? No, we don't look at order flows. I think that the idea that we know where the orders are, please, come on. I know people are selling that. I know there's one type of strategy that is being sold very expensive, which is called order flow, and where they tell you about where the past orders were lying, and when they come back into that past orders, they're going to fall or they're going to go up from there. And the idea is that if you were buying here, and when the market come back, then you buy there again. Please, if market was that simple, people don't buy. Okay, it's like saying, okay, you wanted to eat an hour ago, and then you walk away, and then you pass back again, and you want to eat again. No, it's like those crazy stuff. Just put some thought into it. If you wanted to buy then, it doesn't mean you wanted to buy now because price came back here. If you wanted to sell then and price went away and then come back there, you wouldn't be selling there. And the fact that anybody know where the order flows are, please, if you knew that, you are one of the. There's a hedge fund looking for you if you know where the order flows are. Please, just go tell them, hey, I know where the order flows are. There is a hedge fund going to pay you billions of dollars for that. Because knowing that information is going to make them trillions. You don't know where they are. That's the whole point. You wouldn't know. If you knew exactly who's going to buy where and who's going to be selling where, you'd be pretty okay, right? How long you have been trading, teaching wave trading, and how long has your trading room been open? I think I've never tracked that, about 3 years, maybe, something like that. The trading room works 24/7 if that's what I think the question is how long, not when it's open. Sometimes one impulse wave not subdivided in lesser degree. Can you please explain why? Well, it's just a sharp move. It doesn't have to subdivide. There is no criteria that says that the impulse has to be subdivided. I think about 4 or 5, not necessarily 4 or 5. That's not. Sometimes one impulse wave, not subdivided. I just answered that one. 7 or 6. Okay, that's how many traders do. If make payment to join, do we get instant access to the trading room? You get it, but that's not what you want. So let me answer that question, and we'll close with that. The idea of joining our trading room is not so that you're not going to have trades immediately in the trading room. The trading room is not a signal service room. We specifically designed it not to be that, right? And I specifically am not selling signals, because signals will not work for you. You will never become successful without the knowledge. I just said that like 50 times in this room. And if I said it another 50 times, traders are not going to get it. They want, tell me when to buy, tell me when to sell. You're not going to be a successful trader by doing that. How many of you have bought signals before? Just give me a why if you've subscribed to any signal service before. Even once. If you've subscribed to signal service, just type a why. All of you, just type a why if you've been subscription to. Did that help you? No, it didn't. And I'm still to meet a trader who says, hey, I'm a very successful trader. I'm subscribing to this signal service. Right? I'm still to meet. Do you guys know any trader like that? That comes out and said, hey, I'm a very successful trader. I've been subscribing to signal service. It doesn't work. I will make a lot of money selling you guys signals. Because 100 or 3 of you in here, and I'm pretty sure next couple hundred will buy my signals. But that's me making money, not you making money, because you will never make money off the signals I sell. You don't have the knowledge how to use it. You don't have the psychology to manage the trades. You know, there's a lot of things. You're going to mess with the trade way before you're supposed to get out of it. And if I give you an exact target, by the time I send you a message, oh, get out of the trade now, I get out of the trade at that point. You may not see it. You may not get out of the trade, and you will take losses. Most people end up taking, you see the signal service trading making money, but you're not. And you'll wonder why. Well, they're not actually making money. They're making pips. And there's actually a good scheme of making pips that way. They know how to make it look like they're making money out of the pips. So don't do that. Don't try to do that. Don't ever buy signals. It never works for you. Not in any form. Right? Signals don't work. I had 30,000 people in TradingView who were asking me to sell them signals. At least 2,000 wanted to buy it. It wouldn't work, right? So everybody have a good weekend. Remember, you have to learn to trade. This thing needs knowledge. You will not be successful if you're trading out of ignorance. Let me end with that thought today. If you're trying to become a successful trader out of ignorance, it will not work. Happy Easter to everybody. Go get some knowledge. I keep saying, if you cannot take the course, still keep learning. That's not enough of a reason for you to stop learning. Keep learning. Have a good weekend. See all of you next week. And please help share the word. I hope next week we get a lot more people, because this week was Easter. So I'll give it that not a lot of people coming. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful weekend.